Good morning. It is such an honor to be here with James today. The Lily Montgomery family has a long and storied history here at Christ School, and it has been an incredible, generous family with us. Lillian and Ed, thank you for sharing Collier and James, and for being such supportive Greenie parents. Mrs. Montgomery, thank you for all that you've done, you and your husband, and we are so grateful for you. This introduction, I am sorry to say, is a collection of apologies, a litany of self-recrimination. You see, I had this excellent and really wicked plan to roast James. I figured it would be easy since there's just so much material. I could talk about the bottle of product that he puts in his hair every morning to sculpt that curly mop into a curly mop. And then there's this habit he has of coming into my office, and he stands in front of the mirror to preen and check how the shadows play on his pecs and his lats. It's awesome. I might even share one of his wildly inappropriate jokes, the ones that he tells during the Social Institute lessons. But I'm not one for roasting. And quite frankly, all of these goofy idiosyncrasies are delightful and distinctive parts of what make James such a wonderful guy. So I apologize for stepping away from this juicy roast. And I apologize for deciding to jettison the usual slate of accolades that fill most introductions. At this point, it might be appropriate for me to share details about James' impressive academic accomplishments, the way he has sought more challenging courses every year, and impressed his teachers with his relentless hard work. Teachers like Mr. Money, who said to me that James is the kind of AP calculus student that he comes to work for year after year. I might draw a few words from James' dorm parents who value his leadership, or hunt down his coaches from Asheville Rowing to hear why he is this year's team captain. I know it wouldn't be hard for me to track down his friends and teachers like Mr. Brito, who would describe James's rare ability to hold and defend strong opinions, but also humbly change his mind when he comes upon a new understanding. But I won't bother with those lines here, since James is going to cover that in his speech. If you're counting, this is apology number 3. I'm about to wander into really geeky literary territory, which may, without some generosity and imagination on your part, seem like a wacky Google Maps detour. I apologize for asking this of you, but I am an English teacher and I have the microphone. In a moment, you're going to hear a poem by a young man you do not know, you could not know. The poem is by William Ernest Henley, who was born in England in 1849. His family was poor. His father died when he was young, and when he was 12, he contracted tubercular arthritis. TB usually holds up in a person's lungs, but this particular infection attacked his limbs, and doctors had to amputate one of his legs below the knee. 5 years later, the infection returned, and he nearly lost the other leg, and then he nearly lost his life. Lying in a hospital bed for nearly a year, 17-year-old Henley wrote the fierce, unforgettable poem that 17-year-old James is going to recite for you. So, Google Maps, taking me back on track here. For my final apology. Some people assume that deep, fortifying wisdom that spans centuries and changes lives, cannot emerge from the pen or from the mouth of a boy. To them, I say, I am sorry you do not know the boys I know. Boys with messages every one of us needs to hear, to ingest, to manifest. Wise, brave boys like William Ernest Henley. Wise, brave, nearly roastable boys like your senior speaker, James Montgomery Lilly.
Out of the night that covers me, black as the pit from pole to pole, I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeons of chance, my head is bloody but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms the horrors of the shade, and yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how straight the gate, how charged with punishments the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. I have gone through what Miss Pulsifer might refer to as character development since I got to Christ school in 9th grade. I signed up for all standard classes my freshman year. I stayed up late most nights, not getting near enough sleep. In fact, I specifically remember staying up past when my dorm parents went to bed so I could use a screwdriver to remove the hinges of the phone box. I did all of this just so I could watch TikTok and scroll mindlessly for hours late at night. I didn't go to extra help, I skipped breakfast, and frankly, I missed out on the very reasons I chose to come here. It wasn't that I didn't have dreams I wanted to achieve, I just didn't know how to begin working towards them. In 10th grade, my dream of rowing in college and being a Division I athlete became a goal. A big, scary, ambitious goal, especially for someone who had already developed patterns of laziness and complacency. I had to adjust my classes to take harder courses, take practice more seriously, and basically figure out how to discipline myself. Today, I want to tell you the 5 ways I learned to develop discipline in my life, what I believe is the most valuable attribute I have learned at Christ School. However, first, I think it's important to define discipline. Most, if not every boy in this room, has been scrolling through their phone late at night and seen a David Goggins clip. Excuse my poor imitation. Get up, go run, leave your sad life behind, fulfill your destiny, stay hard. You immediately set your alarm for 5:30 the next morning. You go to the gym, eat scrambled eggs, down a protein shake, and decide you will change your life for the better. However, a few days will go by and you will quickly grow tired of this new lifestyle and regress back to where you were. This is motivation. It's the hype-up speech your coach gives you right before a game or in the third quarter of a painful race. And don't get me wrong, motivation is great, but this is a fleeting emotion and is not the same as discipline. Discipline is doing the things you don't want to do because you know you have to do them, because they are the right thing to do, and because they will make you better. Discipline is going to the gym early in the morning after a late night of homework. It's stretching after a hard practice because you know the next day you will recover faster. So, here are the 5 lessons I learned about how to develop this trait. Step 1, find something worth working for. One day during COVID, I was riding in the car with my older brother on our way to go shoot sporting clays. He asked me if I had a saying or a motto that I lived by. I didn't, so he suggested his own. You only live once, so make the most of the time you have here. Have the most fun and experience the most things that you can. While I really liked this motto and approach to life, it didn't fit my dreams of rowing in college and the hard work that I knew would come with it. So I developed my own motto to live by. I only live once, so I want to be the best that I can be at whatever I choose to do. While it's important to experience new things, to me, life has no purpose unless you are striving for greatness in some field. So, step 1, I found something that was worth striving for, something that made me better and gave me purpose, and I began to chase after it. Step 2, take baby steps. I began working out in the morning 3 days a week to start. I wasn't sure if anything I was doing was right, but I learned to look for a little bit more than what I was doing now. At first, I just copied my roommate, Raymond Berryhill, and we started lifting weights. I eventually recognized my weaknesses and strengths as an athlete and began tailoring my training sessions towards those, going on more runs and spending more time on the rowing machines. I realized the importance of stretching and developed a routine to do at least 3 nights a week, and I set goals for sleep to help me recover faster. The right path might not be clear, but it won't be clear until you begin doing something. until you begin taking your first baby steps. Step 3, find and stay close to real friends. Friends and teammates don't necessarily have to have the same ambitions you do, but they do have to have your best interests in mind. Wyatt Love has been my friend since I was in 6th grade. I trust that when I come to him for advice, he will tell me what is in my best interests, not what he wants me to do. At practice, I position myself directly between Wyatt and Judson Myers because I know that they will both push me harder and ask more of me. Once, I stopped a workout and ran outside because I began throwing up. Quickly after I washed my mouth out with water, Judson grabbed me, told me to get back on the machine, and finish the workout. Moral of the story, have people around you who want you to succeed and push you past where you are willing to push yourself, past what is comfortable. Also, don't order a 6th plate of wings from Rocky's Hot Chicken Shack right before the hardest workout of the week. It doesn't end well. Step 4, cut the BS. I realized that there's a misconception that you can't have a social life if you are an academic and an athlete. That is not true. I just needed to be deliberate with my time management. I cut out screen time on YouTube, Netflix, and the mindless scrolling on TikTok and Instagram, and spent that time doing homework. I used my study halls to get ahead. That way, when friends asked me to hang out, I could go and didn't have to stay behind, catching up on missing assignments. Then, I used that time with friends to relax and enjoy myself, and to keep myself from getting overworked. Cutting out wasted time throughout your day is the easiest way to help yourself stay afloat in classes and in your sport. And admittedly, I am not good at this. My screen time is far too high, I am always running against deadlines, and I am a textbook procrastinator. But as I get better at time management, I always find that I have more freedom. Step 5, thug it out. During my parent-teacher conferences, Mr. Money spent the majority of the time telling my mom about what we had planned on studying for the year and how I had been doing so far. He let her know about the early mornings I spent in his classroom working on problems I didn't understand and how I had challenged myself with such a difficult class. In the last few minutes, he began to speak to me directly, and though his mask covered his face, I could see in his eyes how much he meant the words he said. You just gotta keep going. Keep your foot on the gas pedal, man. Every second of every breath you take in this life until you die. And when you cross into the next life, you lay your foot down on the gas pedal again and you keep going. There is nothing worse than hearing my alarm in the morning, feeling the cold air on my skin as I rip my blankets off because my roommate and I keep the windows open year-round. I know that the tile floor will be cold and I will have to walk on curled toes to keep the bottoms of my feet off the floor. I know that the light will hurt when I turn on my eyes. I know that my eyes will hurt when I turn on the light in the closet to get dressed. And yes, sometimes I let my foot off the gas pedal. I fail. Hell, I often fail. I can't tell you the number of days where I convince myself another hour of sleep would probably be better for me, or that missing one workout won't hurt. But more times than I have slept in, I have gotten up, gotten dressed, done the extra workout, gone to extra help, and done the task I don't want to do. When I told Mr. Hartwig that I intended to speak about discipline, he warned me that I run the risk of just telling people to be more like me. I want to be very clear. My goal with this speech is not to encourage you to be like me, but to encourage you to seek out your own goals and work towards them. You might not care about sports or school. You might want to start your own business or play music. Whatever you feel passionate about, seek it out and work hard towards it. So, if you have been half asleep until this point and want the SparkNotes version of my speech, here it is. Discipline is the ability to work hard day in and day out, especially when you don't want to. Here are the 5 ways I developed discipline, which have led to a more fulfilling life. Find a goal worth working for. Take baby steps, looking for a little bit more than what you are doing now. Surround yourself with people who have your best interests at heart and are willing to push you. Learn time management so you can still have a social life and enjoy yourself. And it isn't pretty, but sometimes you just have to put your head down, put your foot on the gas pedal, and work. During the beginning of this speech, I read a poem, Invictus, which has been my lock screen for about a year now. The last 2 lines of it are, I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. You are in charge of your life, and you are the only one who can take the initiative to change it for the better. So dream big, find goals that are worth working towards and that give you meaning, and then work towards them fiercely. Work so hard that your dreams become your goals become your reality, and your reality becomes the bare minimum you are willing to accept from yourself as you strive to become better. Thank you, God bless, and go green.